Good day to you, and thank you again for joining me for another segment of my scent stories where I share with you what I've been wearing all this week. I want to start with the pairing of oils that I did from Brown Sugar Babe. I put Hibiscus Drive, which is Brown Sugar Babe's answer to Hibiscus Mahajad, with their Skin Deep, and that is their version of Amouage Guidance 46. Here are my two full-size bottles because I did try them in the smaller size portions and immediately upgraded because look how low I am on the Hibiscus Drive. I mean, they initially said that this one was going to be a limited edition product, so I made sure I re-upped on it. This is what I have for Skin Deep. This is not listed as being something that is limited edition, but I do plan to keep it in my collection because they both smell absolutely spot on, absolutely exquisite. And I was just being a little greedy because you really don't need to put anything with Hibiscus Drive. This one will take you to Saturn and back. As a matter of fact, at the end of the day, this is what I smelled more than anything. So I don't know why I put them together. I couldn't decide. And so I decided to put the oils together, and this one, landslide victory. But it was a beautiful exchange of fragrance. Let me show you the perfume that I wore with it. I decided to go with Aromatix Forbidden Fruit, and this is their fragrance. I love the ombre effect on this bottle. It just reminds me of a beautiful sunset, and of course how they have the labeling of the fragrance on the back of the bottle. I just love this. And this fragrance is absolutely a sexy, most people would probably say it's a date night fragrance, but for me, I'm going to wear it. I'm not waiting for date night. If I want to smell the fragrance, I'm going to just spray it accordingly. And this was Love Week, as some people would call it, or Loveuary, short for, I guess, their new versions of saying Valentine's Day, the love month. But there's so many other wonderful things that also going on in the month of February. As we know, it's Black History Month, and you have President's Day and, Mardi Gras and all these wonderful things that are going on. But I decided to wear those oils with this particular fragrance because I just wanted to add a little kick and a little spice to the workday, and it fared me well because, as I said before, I create a scent bubble, and it was a true forest field against some of the gas passing that I had experienced this week with the students. So let me share with you I wore on another day. Hold on. Okay, so I also wore this week some musk. I wanted to wear something light and fresh, but also something that would last and give me a warm sillage throughout the day. So I went in with Riffs Fleurie Violette. I don't know if you're familiar with this bottle. It is so, so beautiful. One of the things I love about when you receive a Riffs package is that they also include a fragrance card with the bottle that I don't have anymore, but it lists the notes inside. And as a matter of fact, the notes are also listed conveniently on the back of the bottle. So let me see if I can show that to you. There it is. I love that about this, and I will just post the notes for your convenience. But I paired that with Kayali Musk 12. This is such a beautiful fragrance. This is one of those things that you can just wear with most everything that you might have in your collection. And so, so pretty. I always get compliments on this whenever I wear it. And I'm so proud to have it back in my collection. So proud that they saw fit to bring it back so that we can enjoy it once again. And I based it with Must Be Nice from Brown Sugar Babe. This is what I believe is their inspiration from Initio fragrances, Musk Therapy, and it does have a very lovely, lovely musk balance to it. It smells a lot like Musk Therapy. I did once upon a time have that fragrance. I've since finished that bottle. I did not repurchase, not because it wasn't good. I just did not see fit to repurchase, but they did a magnificent job on the replication of this particular oil to that fragrance, and these three did a very good job of keeping it very soft and warm. As you know, that many of us are experiencing a lot of winter weather in our areas, and the three of these together just made a wonderful blend of something soft and cozy. I didn't necessarily look for projection this day, and I didn't get any projection on this, but I was able to just enjoy it privately amongst myself, and just such a beautiful pairing. I had never worn it together like that before, but it certainly won't be my last time wearing them together as a trio. So let me share what I wore on the following day. Earlier this week, I also pulled something from Zimaya Fragrances, and this is called Hawwa Pink. I don't know if you remember seeing this particular bottle. They do have another bottle. It's called Hawwa Red, and they kind of came out together at the same time. Isn't this just the prettiest? This almost looks like a ring that you could wear on your hand as a piece of jewelry, but it is not. This is actually the cap for the bottle. It's just so beautiful. And here's the atomizer, but this is the cap. Nicely weighted. It's just so pretty. This particular fragrance it's a light, soft floral. It has some bergamot in there, some peony, some rose. Just a beautiful collection of fragrances that it was a soft floral fragrance I was looking for. I didn't want anything harsh. I paired it with the fragrance from Maison Asrar called Elizabeth. And here's this bottle, so pretty. This fragrance actually reminds me of a cross between Parfums de Marly, Oriana, and Love Don't Be Shy, because it has some orange blossom, a little bit of jasmine, some cotton candy in it. Now, you know I don't really enjoy the scent of edible or super candy sweet gourmands. This particular one is very sweet, but it's not the Love Don't Be Shy kind of sweet. It's dialed back with some of the solar accords that are also included in this fragrance. Such a lovely, lovely scent. I got this from Aroma Concepts, and pairing it with the Hawwa Pink, this kind of helped to cut some of that sweetness because it is so floral forward, and I really had a good time wearing these two together as a set. And what a wonderful surprise. A lot of times I have so many fragrances on my dresser, I'm really just trying to grab some of the ones that I don't typically grab first as a sort of delayed gratification to make sure that I don't, have my bottles sitting there and then become wasteful and they expire. But those two together really was enjoyable. It's really, really soft and enjoyable, and soft white musk in it. More than anything, I got a lot of orange blossom. So if you enjoy the note of orange blossom, then you will certainly enjoy that Elizabeth. And then pairing with the Hawwa Pink was just really, really successful. Toward the end of the work week, I wore some oils. One particular one from Skinpotion. It's called Creme de Vanille or Vanille. I think I'll just go with Vanille. And this, here we go with the vanilla bean inside. I just love that. They have such beautiful ornaments inside of their revitalizing body oils. As you know, well, maybe you don't know, if you've watched some of my previous videos, I do have challenges with eczema, and this has always been a comfort to my skin. This, along with brown sugar babe oils, because they are using so many natural ingredients, it's just not an irritant, and I can use the oils as a fragrance versus just adding the perfume, especially if I wanted to put that on my clothes, because I wouldn't spray my clothes with me in the clothes. I would lay my clothes out and then spray the fragrance. But these oils, sometimes I will just rub them on my clothing after testing the fabric first, because I don't want to stain anything. But this is long wearing and super sustainable. I had a great time wearing this, and I did get a lot of compliments when I wore this. But this one from Zimaya, now if you look at the bottle, it looks a little rosy, a little like magenta a little bit. When I first purchased this, it smelled a little vanillic, but now it's got a lot more rose forward accords coming through it. It's really, really strong. You don't need a lot of this. Yeah, as you can tell, it comes with the fragrance skewer, and typically when I wear this, I will just apply it from the skewer to my skin, or occasionally I will go ahead and pour a little bit into my hands, mixing it with a little bit of a balm or an oil or a lotion so that I can rub onto my skin and have it absorb. And it was just a really, really wonderful sensation, not only to the revitalizing sensation of moisturizing my skin, but also to just the fragrance in the air. And a lot of compliments came from that. I mean, you don't really need a lot. It was a nice, beautiful scent bubble, and coming within about an arm's length, I was able to receive many compliments from these two, wearing them together as a pair. I'd like to share with you what I wore this evening, and I did receive a few compliments, some from my boys and my husband. When we went out to dinner, they took me to dinner as a surprise, the guys did, and I thought that was so kind, because when you have young people growing up, they need to understand, or start to learn to understand, that things don't just pop up, under the Christmas tree, or in a bag or a box for your birthday. Someone went out and did some forward thinking on some things they thought that you might enjoy. And so my husband had them to decide where they wanted to take mommy for Valentine's Day, as I'd already gifted them their presents, and we'd already exchanged as a family. But just kind of giving the guys some guidance, he allowed them to choose the restaurant, and that's where we went. We had a great time. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do, is to go to dinner, but certainly to go to dinner with my 3 guys. So I really appreciated that. So let me share with you what I wore that got some attention from them. I went in with my Skinpotion, and this is one of their newer releases, Midnight Devotion. Now, I know I told a lot of you before I was on a no-buy, and that is true to a point. So I decided to just purchase with moderation. I'm still the kind of person that says, I don't care how big your discount is, I can save more by keeping the money in my wallet. So I only got that and the oil because I knew it was limited edition, but they said that too about the other 3 1-ounce bottles that they offered earlier this year, and they're still available for sale. So, you know, you just never know when they're going to snatch it back. But I don't have any regrets about this because it has got this wonderful chocolate accord in there, and I love the scent of chocolate, especially when I want to wear tobaccos or not just vanillas, but just that chocolate. To me, it just brings out the richness in whatever is in there. If it's blending with a cherry or a strawberry, it just enriches anything I'm wearing. Or an incense. I just love it. Now, everybody's different. Some people don't like chocolate, and this is not a bitter chocolate. It is a sweet chocolate, and I think you would really enjoy it if you have a chance to cross paths with it. Nevertheless, I paired that with Besame Mucho. Now, these are the Revitalizing Body Butters. I do have the oils for these fragrances, but for this evening, I wore the Body Butters, and with them, I sprayed this fragrance from Octavia Morgan. Now, this bottle I purchased sometime last year. I just hadn't had a chance to pull it out, or I should just say I hadn't pulled it out. But I've used this much of the fragrance, and let me tell you, when I went into Ulta, I've heard so much talk about Dark Rose. And so I went in with high hopes with that one and fully expecting to make a purchase on the spot, but this is the one I walked out with, Midnight Orchid and Midnight Orchard. And I don't hear a lot of people talking a lot about this one, but this is the one that captured me, and I do enjoy the Dark Rose, and I do plan to get it, but this one right here, I had to order right on the spot, and they just had the testers in the store, and I just wanted to make sure I supported her online, and I just have absolutely no regrets about it at all. One point I want to share with you while I'm talking about testers in store. Keep in mind, we don't know how long the testers have been out, what kind of conditions they might have been in, how many people have sprayed them. You know, when you're putting something that's face forward with the public, you're trusting that people are doing, you know, what's considered politically correct or what's polite, one customer to another. But sometimes people are just, if not ravenous for overhyped fragrance, then sometimes they just mishandle the products that are meant for general consumption. And by that I mean, if you spray something in store and it's not necessarily to your liking, I mean, it really is the best way to determine if you're going to purchase a fragrance in its full totality or just getting a smaller size bottle. But I'm learning that if it's a fragrance I'm really, really interested in, I'll just grab the travel size, because that way, not only can I smell the scent for itself and really get a true wear, I can take the spray and get a full experience by using it all over the way I would if I was actually going to wear it if I had owned it. So, not saying there's a dig against spraying fragrances in the store, there is, but just keep in mind, sometimes you don't know how long the bottles have been out there. You know, if it's a hot day, you know, I understand things are temperature regulated in stores, but, you know, people can be people, and sometimes, for me, I'm speaking from experience, that's why I'm giving you this spiel. I'm going to get off my soapbox, but I'm just saying, if you really dig in a fragrance, go ahead and take the extra step. Just give yourself the chance and the opportunity to smell it via a travel size, and then make your final purchasing decision. So, I don't know, have you all ever thought about that? Have you ever had a mishap with a spray in a store and it didn't wear quite right, and then you maybe tried it elsewhere and it smelled fresher? I mean, surely that can't just be my experience. Maybe I'm just the only one speaking about it. Either way, I would love to hear your feedback. Share with me what your thoughts are on your spraying in-store experience with a tester. Okay, I'm going to close this video out with I have quite a few little mini samples that I actually found to be quite successful, so don't laugh at me. Many of you all don't like the little 2 ml bottles that you can purchase from Scent Split or Twisted Lily or Lucky Scent or from wherever. Really, it's nice to have the full body wearing experience of a fragrance, but when I'm purchasing a 2 mil, my whole purpose and goal is to determine, do I like the fragrance enough to get it? I'll go by the reviews and do some research and see about the longevity and the sillage and what have you, but ultimately I want to know, do I even like the fragrance enough to want to experience it any further? So I forgot I've got a whole bowl full, I mean literally a whole bowl full of fragrances, and I've made some full purchases from the 2 mils. Speaking of which, Duchessa, here's my bottle of Duchessa. This is my little 2 mil. Now it's empty, but initially when I tried it, this is what gave me the strength and the notion to get Duchessa on my wish list, which I had on my wish list for 3 years, and I did finally get it last year. So I had a second bottle that I purchased because if I really want to check out a fragrance, I'll get more than one of these. So I got 2 of these, and this is just the one I'd already used, and this is the one I wore this week, along with 2 2 mil bottles of Epico Varnish Charnel. Now, mind you, I only wore them on my upper sleeves because you can't go anywhere with these. But let me tell you something. I was convinced that while I do love Bayan Asrar, I want to say that's Paris Corner's answer to Amouage Guidance. Lovely, lovely fragrance. And while I do anticipate wearing that over the summer when the temperatures get much warmer, I have decided I do want my own full-size bottle of Amouage Guidance because this little vial lasted me all day. And I'm telling you, when I put it on, it went from here to about here. And I just literally opened it and just poured out the contents. And I knew that it wasn't really going anywhere, but I poured it evenly on this side, and a second vial that I poured evenly on this side. And let me tell you something. It stayed with me for, there's no lie, 12 hours. I get up very, very early in the morning. I'm up at like 3:30. Leave the house about 6:30. But I'm dressed before that because I want to have something to eat, have my coffee and what have you. But I'm telling you, this little vial, I'm sorry, we're 2 of these, one on one arm, one on the other, stayed with me for the day. I am convinced this, and I did get compliments on it, this has convinced me to purchase the actual bottle of Amouage Guidance. Can't wait to do it. It's not going anywhere, so I'm not going to rush, but I'm telling you, don't sleep on these little 2 mil, bottles. I'm going to share with you some of the other bottles that I have that I plan to use, but these little 4 I wanted to close out the video with because while it is funny, they got me through the day and they did give me a household of compliments. So think about that the next time you check out some purchase items that you're interested in at ScentSplit, and don't be ashamed to get your 2 mils because it will tell you a yes or a no if you give it a chance. Thanks again for stopping by. I look forward to speaking with you in my next video, and until then, take good care.